The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Aloha and good afternoon. Welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes. Talking story this week with a couple of executive directors who are fairly new in their capacities. So we're gonna find out what they have to say about the organizations that they're getting intimately familiar with, or something like that. This is the weekly show where we talk to nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs of the Maui community. We're sponsored by Pacific Source, Maui's best source for building materials, with a cabinet appliance showroom open to the public in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Interim Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of Maui Nonprofit Directors. And I'm happy to introduce my co-host for today's show. Hey, Sherry Dotson of Habitat for Humanity Maui.
You're just, yes, Habitat for Humanity Maui. And I am the treasurer of Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. And today we're going to be sharing experiences of how nonprofit community leaders and their agencies work to benefit our beautiful island home, with stories of how they got started in this crazy business and how their agencies are changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope. Today we have Travis Schnepp from the Bailey House Museum, Maui Historical Society, and we have Steve Heyer, who was hired as the new executive director of Maui AIDS Foundation.
Probably was hired because of my name.
Maybe that's it. That's it. When you write that down, is that kind of like a demand or a command? Hire.
Hire me.
So I think we'll start off today with Steve and see what's new at Maui AIDS Foundation.
Well, let's see. What's new? Probably the newest thing we have going on is we have a new doctor working out of our office who is an HIV specialist, and he'll be at the office 1 day a week. So helping us with not only our clients, but he'll be taking patients that are not our clients that are HIV positive. So not all HIV positive people are clients of Maui AIDS Foundation, only the ones that need help.
So now this is the first time you've had a doctor on board?
Yes, it's the first time we've had a doctor working out of our office on a regular schedule. We do have also a doctor that comes every 2 months from the Spencer Clinic in Honolulu, and they see our HIV patients. Maui is real short on HIV specialists, so any help we can get, we appreciate. So
wow,
we're lucky.
Yeah, that's good. The Spencer Clinic, is that primarily for HIV?
Yes, that's
AIDS?
Primarily HIV, and they do research over there. And
I didn't know we had that in Hawaii.
I didn't either.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
They're great.
That's
So
cool.
you got a new executive director, a new doctor.
Right.
Things are changing over there.
Things are changing fast, and things are going well.
Now,
So-
how did you come to be the new executive director?
Well, after Keith left, I was the only one that would step up, I guess.
There's a process of elimination. Everybody
Yeah.
else said put their hands real low.
Right, I
Nobody
guess
raised
I
their
was
hand.
next on the list, it looked like.
So you were already with Maui AIDS Foundation.
Yes, I've been with Maui AIDS Foundation. I started there volunteering, and when I first started there, that was probably 7 years ago, something like that. I walked in and went, how do you guys run a business like this? Because I always owned my own businesses throughout my life, but when I went down there to volunteer, I thought, you guys can't stay in business like this.
We don't.
You're not making any money.
Thus the non-profit.
That's yeah. I thought, boy, this is nonprofit. So, and I'm finding out now that it is hard to stay in business with no money.
So you started volunteering about the same time that Keith started as the ED.
Yeah, I started volunteering, probably about a year before he
okay.
became ED. So,
And
and then I just worked my way up from there. I ended up starting, working reception, and then went into donor development, and then housing director, administrative director, and now executive director.
Wow.
That's good, though,
So-
that you have experience in all the different aspects of it, though. It really makes it a lot easier to come into an agency if you've worked in it before.
Right, yeah, you can see how it works instead of just walking in. And I know the people, I've been working with our donors, working with our clients, working with the county and the state, so I know a lot of the people. So that makes it a lot more easy to get things done.
He's a natural.
He's a natural.
Yeah, it was a natural choice. Cool. So how does it feel to be in that seat?
Hot seat.
Hot seat.
It's so perfect.
Actually, I like it. It's just because I like what I do. I'm real dedicated to stopping AIDS. And after I went through back in the 80s, watching so many of my friends die, I think I stayed away from AIDS organizations after that because I didn't want to be reminded. And as I got older, I thought, I really need to get in there and help and stop this from happening again. And I just hope we can. We've got people living a lot longer, but we haven't stopped HIV and AIDS. We've stopped people from seeing it because people are living longer, they're looking better while they have it, but we're not stopping it. We had 680 cases of AIDS back in 2001. We have 4,000 in Hawaii now.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
So there has been
We've-
an increase.
Well, there's also an increase. We can't tell whether there's an increase in finding out who has it. There's a lot of different causes there. We haven't been reporting. We haven't reported HIV cases, only AIDS cases. So we run into all these problems, confidentiality. So the numbers can vary, but
And I think there's still a stigma of some people who don't want to get involved or come forward and admit.
Well, yeah, especially on a small island, there's a lot of people that don't even want to come in to get tested because my uncle works across the street from where you get
He
tested.
might see me go in.
Might see me go in there,
Just tell them they were going to Lokahi Pacific.
Right, women helping
They're
women.
women helping women, right?
Yeah,
That's a nice
So-
thing about having 3 different agencies in there.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
and now we have a doctor in there, so.
I think we should. That's one of the things that frustrates me most about it is there shouldn't be a stigma. It's no different than any other illness or disease, except for maybe the way it sort of came up through the ranks.
Yeah, well, it was when it first came to the U.S. It was a gay disease. They thought, oh, it's a gay disease, but worldwide, 80% of the people are heterosexuals that have it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's changed now. It's changed from the perception.
Sorry
of it.
about the paper. I guess I listened to Rush Limbaugh so much.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and moving on back to Maui AIDS Foundation. I heard a story recently, though, that there was someone who actually was HIV positive. I believe I don't know whether he had AIDS or not, but he had a bone marrow transplant, and they were actually able to.
Right, actually, there's been a couple cases like that.
In Germany.
Right.
Yeah, I was listening to NPR, and they've actually been able to eliminate the disease, or
They think so.
they think so. Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't been
They
able
become-
to find it in there, but HIV is very good at hiding.
Oh.
So we can't.
Only time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
And that's not something you're going to want to go through to get rid of it.
Yeah, he actually was being treated for cancer,
Right.
and they had to do a very aggressive bone marrow. It wasn't your typical bone marrow. It was something that was very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like this is going to be the new treatment.
Yeah.
It's just something that, but that's encouraging.
It's
definitely
encouraging. There's been a lot of encouraging things. I mean, from when I remember it back in the 80s when there was nothing, to now where you can take one pill, that's a big difference.
But that one pill is costly.
That one pill is very costly. So that's where we step in. We help people get their medications. Through Maui AIDS, we do a variety of things, everything from education. In fact, we have a class with the police department today on HIV 101, education through the schools, the prisons. We do prevention. We do outreach at places where people may be having sex. We go out there, we hand out condoms. Then we do testing. We have testing here at our office. We have testing upcountry in Lahaina and in Kihei. You can call our office, 242-4900, and sign up for a test.
Completely confidential.
Yeah, it is confidential.
And you can find out the results fairly quickly now, can't you?
Right. We have a 20-minute oral swab for HIV.
20 minutes. I didn't think it was that quick.
Well,
Thinking a day.
and I was just reading this morning, they have a 1-minute test now.
Oh.
It's a blood test where they prick your finger, and it's coming out. But after watching the video, I thought, well, by the time they do everything they have to do, it's almost 20 minutes anyway. So I don't know where they got that 1 minute. So, and then we have the Hep C testing that we do.
Oh, you guys test for that as well.
Yeah, Hep C is really a problem here, especially in Hawaii. Just in Maui County, there's probably 1,600 undiagnosed cases, and it's the #1 cause of liver cancer.
Oh,
And-
liver cancer. I would thought liver failure, but not liver cancer.
Yeah. It's also, Hawaii's the #1 state in the nation in Hep C cases.
Really? Now,
why
why
is-
is why is
Why
that?
is that? What are we doing different here?
well,
we hang out at the beach. What's the difference?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of it's, we have a lot of people from a lot of different countries coming in here, and that could be a lot of it right there. So, and Hep C is different from HIV, both blood, caused by blood, but Hep C can live for weeks, like blood on a table.
Oh, like externally?
Externally, the air doesn't kill it for weeks, where HIV, once it's exposed to the air, it doesn't last,
I
few
didn't know
seconds
that.
to a minute,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
and it dies. But Hep C doesn't. So,
Boy, you've got to take a lot more precautionary measures when you're Hep C positive then, huh?
right, and we have a lot of Hep C cases, which causes more cases. So,
Now, is Hep C, is there any place where it's mandatory that you have to be tested? I thought, I guess they don't test that in the restaurants and stuff? That's just TB.
That's just TB as far as I know. Yeah.
Oh, they should probably think about testing that too.
Yeah.
so
As part of routine stuff.
we're lucky through the county that the county's given us a grant to do this Hep C testing.
How are there signs? How would somebody know to get tested or that something's going on?
There may not be signs.
Oh,
That's why
really?
everyone should be tested, especially the older people, they say, should be tested.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was going through some of your stuff, and it was talking about the difference between anonymity and what's the other word?
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality. Right.
Yeah. One is we keep the name confidential. The other is we don't take the name. We're trying to get more into confidentiality where we take the name, because sometimes we get people come in and have a test and then we can't ever get a hold of them. So, especially before when it took 2 weeks to get the test, we had no name. So if
Right.
they came up positive, we had no way to get a hold of them.
That sort of defeats the whole purpose, huh?
Right.
Just hope that they call back in or come in and, they have a
Right.
number or something?
Yeah, they have a
Identifies.
number, so we hope they come back in.
Now, there's also something that said that once you take the test, it doesn't mean you're clear and free, that there's a time period
Right.
where
yeah.
you should maybe take it again.
Yeah, because you can get HIV and it may not show up for 3 to 6 months. So you want to keep going in and being tested. So if you think you've been exposed, you go in and get tested. So, and then if you're free and clear, come back in 3 months and get tested again.
But
So that's the best way. But
if you don't want to have to keep going get tested, be smart
yeah,
Right.
and do the preventive measures you need to. And
yeah. And HIV, it can hide in your body for years and years, and you may not know you have it. So a lot of times we'll get a call from the hospital, and we have somebody, with HIV in the hospital that had no idea they had it.
because the symptoms can be so many. There's not really. You get other diseases because of the HIV, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Other types
it
of
attacks
cancers.
the immune system, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So so it depends
So you
on
may
your
have
immune
cancer
system.
and then realize at that point that you're HIV. but-
Exactly.
yeah.
Or you come in with pneumonia and find out that you have HIV. That's how they first started finding HIV.
Oh, really?
Was when all of a sudden these gay guys were dying of pneumonia in New York, and they're going, "What's going on? What's causing all this outbreak of pneumonia?" And this is what they found out. It was HIV.
Pneumonia epidemic.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem possible, does it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna take a short break right now and listen to some words of wisdom from Pacific Source. We'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we're back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors to find out what they're doing to make Maui the greatest place to live. We're talking right now with Steve Heyer of Maui AIDS Foundation, and we're learning about some of the new things that are going on both in his office and in the world of HIV and AIDS and Hep C. Sherry?
Yes.
You look like you had something you wanted to ask.
No, I was actually captivated by I'm still reeling over that Hep C is such a prevalent, disease here in Maui, and I'm still trying to figure out why. It just doesn't seem. But I think it's a good idea that we get people tested and find
Yes.
out.
And they can come in. The testing's free at our office, so anyone can come in and get tested.
Yeah, because when you deal with the liver, there's no going
Yeah.
back. It's once your liver goes, liver transplants are far and few between. So,
And
So
we're lucky that the county has given us this grant.
right.
We were cut by the state $70,000 in our prevention department, and the county has stepped in and helped us out quite a bit.
That's
So I
terrific.
really appreciate all the work that the people up at the county have done to help us get this off the ground and get people tested. And this is why our numbers are going up so high, is we're testing more and more people.
Catching it.
And we're catching them. And what you want to do is, these people come in, they have no idea they have HIV, a lot of them. Some of them think, I might have been exposed. Some of them have no idea.
well, if you don't have any symptoms, you think you just continue to live your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they come in, and all of a sudden, once we find that they have it, then we can teach them how not to spread it. So that's where your
Gotcha.
advantage is of getting the people that are positive. The ones that are positive are the ones you want to get to educate them not to spread it.
Well, and
So-
it seems logical that the sooner you catch it, the more apt you are to be able to handle the symptoms and get the proper medication. And
Exactly. You want to get the medication as soon as possible. You don't want to wait and find yourself in the hospital.
yeah,
And then you go, I should have
and there's
tested
no need to
myself
be
years
scared
ago.
anymore because the medications. I mean, I've heard stories of people living years and years, 20, 30 years with HIV, and they're living their lives.
Right, but I don't want to say there's no reason not to be scared. I want people to be scared. I want them to be careful in what they're doing, make the right choices about sex, the right choices about drug use. We're talking about our kids. Most of the people getting this disease are between 15 and 29 years old.
Really? Oh,
These are kids that weren't alive when I saw my friends dying. So they're not scared.
They don't know.
They didn't see what I saw. So they think it's not a problem. They see drug ads, take one pill and you'll be fine. And they have these models that look wonderful in the magazine, with this one pill. So if you get HIV, just take one pill a day and there's no problem. That is not true. They don't see that person having diarrhea and all these other complications that you do have, even though you can live a long time. It's not the life you want to live.
well, you're chronically ill.
Yeah.
You may have one pill that keeps you alive, but you're chronically ill.
Right.
And if you don't want to be chronically ill the rest of your life, then you need to prepare and protect yourself and be smart.
So the numbers that you're talking about, how fast they've increased, is basically because there's more people being tested. It's not that there's potentially that many more people getting it.
Yeah, that we don't know.
Right, right.
Because
Yeah,
we haven't had
to.
the numbers.
Right.
We're hoping that it is because we're testing more. But
And so let's say someone comes in and gets tested and turns out that they are positive. Then your agency doesn't just, I mean, that's when you guys kick into gear as well, right?
exactly, they come in, get tested. If they come up positive, then we have a confirmatory blood draw to confirm that they're positive. And that'll be through the Department of Health usually. We have them come in and do a blood draw. And then immediately we have counselors there to talk to them, find out about their make sure they can get on medication, make sure they have a doctor. And that's why we like having a doctor in our office now. Sometimes we can't schedule with the HIV doctors here for weeks. This way we have a doctor, we can try to get them in right away to see our doctor so they can get on medication right away. And get them on the right path. So,
But not just with their medications. I know you guys help with housing, with
we help
food.
with housing. We have a food bank, so we serve over 100 families a month with food. We have housing. We serve over 100 people with housing subsidies. We help with their, we have counselors there that will help them with their insurance. If they don't have insurance, we can help them get insurance. So that they can get their drugs. And then if we have people that go in the hospital, they find out they have HIV, all of a sudden they've got to start taking these drugs that can cost up to $10,000 a month. They don't have insurance. Now we might be able to get them on insurance, but it may take a month or two. So then that's when we step in and Maui AIDS pays for the drugs. So that's what
That's
so we
really
have
surround services. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about embracing them and helping them with their entire. It's such a transition. You
Yeah.
know.
And they're looking at taking this pill for life,
right, exactly.
literally and
being
figuratively.
and being tested. You're constantly tested, to find out what their counts are and stuff like that. So it's not something you want to do, but at least now you can live a life. Before you didn't. It was almost a death sentence.
But I think the point being that best not to get it if you can.
Right.
Well, of
I
course,
mean,
yeah.
no, but I mean, even though things have progressed to where they can live a fairly normal life, I don't think spending $10,000 a month for pills is the answer.
No, definitely not.
I
So-
don't think anybody wants
It's
that.
not a great fallback position, if you will.
No.
But
So-
at one time you were talking, there was some talk about having a test that you could do at home.
Yes, they even talk about having a test now at the drugstores. But when I've talked to some of these people and said, I can't imagine somebody being in a drugstore and taking an HIV test and finding out they're positive while you're in a drugstore.
Yeah, wouldn't you
I
like
mean-
to be at Maui AIDS where they can talk to you and explain and
I said-
help you?
I said to some of these people in the state and stuff, I said, have you ever been in the room and somebody's told they're positive? You ever see them break down and cry and want to know if they're going to live? And, it's very, very emotional. It's not something you're going to want to do in a drugstore.
Which is isolating. It's just further
Or
their
something
isolation.
to do at home, because we have counselors there, sometimes you get a reaction of, I'm going to kill that son of a gun that gave this to me, or I'm going to kill myself because my life's over. How can I tell my wife? How can I tell my family? What am I going to tell my mother? Some of these are young kids too. I mean, we're talking,
There's no age limit on this.
there's no age limit.
Or minimum.
I think in Hawaii right now we have 21 people under the age of 14.
Oh my gosh. That's disgusting.
A lot of people don't think, oh, it can't happen to my family. Trust me, it can happen to your family. I see it every day happening to families. So,
Oh my God. Well, then, I mean, in situations like that, you're talking about counseling with the whole family.
right.
It's not just this 14-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid. There's a
So-
lot of work to be done with in a situation like that.
Yeah. So it's very emotional. It's emotional not only for the kid, it's emotional for us at work.
I'll
You know,
bet.
Yeah.
I'll
You
bet.
know, when we get people that are positive and it's a young kid and you're like, oh, this is just so tough. makes it
Yeah.
really, really tough on all of us.
So you just think, God, if I just gotten to him a little sooner,
Yeah,
if I just
if he would have been the one I handed the condom to, or if he would, how'd he miss my class on HIV, or there's all these
kids,
things
though,
that go
they-
through your mind.
Yeah, the kids, think they're invincible. That's not going to happen to me. That happens to other people.
Yeah,
I find that so, not just with HIV, but with so many things, driving fast, drinking and driving, oh,
Right.
it's not going to happen to me, until one of their friends,
hmm
or God forbid them. Yeah, they think they're invincible.
So we're trying to get out there, but with all the budget cuts, it's really tough. And the donations are hard to come by anymore. HIV isn't the glamorous drug disease that it used to be. When Rock
Was
Hudson.
it ever glamorous?
Well, I just mean the
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end
The
thing.
new thing.
the new thing. So everybody thinks, oh yeah, I remember AIDS. Didn't they cure that? So nobody's giving. But when you see these children, on our island, and this happening to them, you wonder, can't more be done?
Right.
Yeah, and if
And
you
you-
donate, then maybe you guys can do more, educational and prevention stuff.
Oh yeah,
so-
there's a lot we want to do, we can't do. We can only do so much with the money we have, and we're trying to feed people and test people and hand out condoms and do everything we can, but there's a lot more, and it all costs money. And
Who should people contact if they're interested in helping out, either volunteering or financially?
they can contact me. I answer the phone all the time.
But they can go on your website.
They can go on the website and donate, definitely.
That's a new
So-
website you've got too. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a new website. You can go there and donate, and we'd really appreciate it. We can use all the donations. I see all these sponsorships for sports and stuff, and I'm thinking, it just breaks my heart thinking, I have a lot of kids that can't do that now. They can't play sports. We need, if we could get the money that went into sports donated to some of our nonprofits, on the island. I'm sure a lot of other nonprofits feel the same way.
Right.
That
Or even just some of it.
Yeah, just some of that money, or some of the money that goes to, some ridiculous things.
Okay, let's.
I better not get into it.
Whoa, he's getting on his
We're gonna get
soapbox.
telephone calls.
Okay,
I know
so
this is where I have to.
they can get a hold of you by calling
242-4900.
242-4900,
Go to MauiAIDS.org.
MauiAIDS.org.
Yeah, MauiAIDS.org.
Great. Steve, thank you for being here and shedding some light on what's happening in the world of HIV, AIDS, and Hep C.
And thanks for leading a really great organization and
Oh.
taking the reins.
Thank you guys for doing the radio show so we can get out there to the people that need to hear this.
You're
So-
welcome. You're welcome. You did a great job today. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. We're going to go to something that's a little more laid back, a lot more laid back, if you will. The Bailey House, which is part of Maui Historical Society. Get that AL on there. Okay, Travis, you're new at the helm of this organization.
Yes, I am.
How did you get there?
I started out as an intern, volunteer, and then intern.
Well, that seems like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, what? No.
Careful.
Here we are saying
Careful, 'cause-
volunteer everybody, and now we're saying, okay, watch out, because you could become the ED.
You can volunteer without
Don't
becoming
scare
an ED.
people away from volunteering. No.
It's only the sick people like us that
Oh.
actually take on the ED jobs. Those people's gluttons for punishment, all that.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, we're glad to have you aboard, though.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where did you? How'd you get into historical and historical stuff in general?
Well,
Historical stuff, and I
this
like
is a bit
that.
of a story if you really want to hear
Sure.
it.
Sure.
Tell us.
I was in banking, and when the
That's a
crash
natural
happened,
transaction.
And,
Transaction.
Transition. Transition.
When I lost my job in 2007 and lost my house and everything else, I thought, what have I always wanted to do? I hated banking. And I thought I always wanted to do something, with parks, recreation, museums, something like that. So I went to school for parks and recreation management. I thought that'd
Again,
be
a
fun.
natural transition. Parks.
I focused with that. My focus was on museums, which is part
Oh.
of Parks and Recreation, and I started this in Arizona, where I did all of my practicum and early internships with the Arizona Historical Society and volunteered for them. When I came over here, it was a natural transition to go to the Maui Historical Society. The reason I got over here, I know you're wondering how that happened, was I thought I've lost everything. Where's the one place on earth I've always wanted to live?
There you go.
Good choice.
And this was it. I knew there's nothing to lose.
No,
I should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and if
it's
you're
the
going to
best thing
have a
ever.
really hard job like an ED, might as well do it on Maui.
Right. think-
It's not the job I wanted. It's funny, you all knew Nicole, who was the executive
Right.
director before me. When I said I was going to apply for the job, she was in shock because she goes, "You don't want to work full time again." I said, "No, but I love this institution. I love it here. I love the Bailey House. I love Maui Historical Society, and I really believe in them. So I'm doing it, even though I really didn't want to work full time, and now I'm working.
I was going to say
More
he's
than
not
full-time.
not working full time. He's working all the time.
But it does make a difference when you love what you do.
Yes,
you know, as opposed to
absolutely.
going to a job and working 8 to 5 and you're
Right.
miserable. Yeah.
He was a
Yes.
banker, 9 to
Yeah.
3.
Oh, 9 to
No,
3.
I worked a lot of hours. I was in charge of all the electronic transfer of funds
Oh.
for people buying and selling houses. So it was a very stressful job. And I would get there at 6 in the morning because the Fed would open on the East Coast, and I would work. I'd let my people go home at 3, and I would finish up everything till 5. It was long days then also.
So you're used to kind of
I'm
that.
used to long days, but I wasn't happy then, and I am now.
Great.
Even though it's a little stressful sometimes.
Right.
So tell us more about Maui Historical Society, especially the Bailey Museum.
Yeah, well, Maui Historical Society is basically, their mission is to preserve Maui history. They run the Bailey House Museum, which seems to be my full-time job, more so than some of the other things. But the interesting thing about Maui Historical Society and the Bailey House Museum as compared to other places you might go is it focuses on Hawaiian history, Maui Hawaiian history, not U.S. history. So it's old history. We have ancient artifacts from before European contact. We have artifacts and information from during the monarchy, which includes missionaries, because missionaries came during the monarchy, the Kingdom of Hawaii. So it's an interesting museum in that, because then it gives people a real sense of history. And this is a part of history that the people in the United States, like me, born in the United States, I wasn't taught this. I started studying it a long time ago, but because I was intrigued by it, having read a book that told me some things that I thought were, wow, I'd never heard of such a thing. So I was intrigued. So I've read about history of Hawaii for a long time, but our museum really focuses on that. And it's great for the visitors, especially, but
I wish more visitors would go to the Bailey Museum,
Yeah.
Bailey House Museum, and learn more about the history
that's
of
one
Hawaii.
of my goals.
Good. That's
But
great.
also I want more local people involved, because a lot of local people don't know what we are. They don't really understand. And yes, I'm a haole running this place, but we are not an old haole house.
Right.
I mean, this place is dedicated to Hawaiian history, and I think that's the thing that people really need to understand, that even though there's not a Hawaiian at the helm at this point, it is really dedicated to Hawaiian history.
Well, I don't think that it doesn't matter whether
No.
there's a Hawaiian or, there's Hawaiian at heart.
Yes.
You look like you're very much Hawaiian at heart, so.
Thank you.
True.
I
Now-
take
now-
that as a huge compliment.
There you go. The Bailey House was built in 1833.
Yes.
And then it became the home for the missionary teacher Edward Bailey, thus the
Yes.
name, until 1888. But then nothing was going on there until 1957 when the Maui Historical Society took over.
Well, actually, what happened in 1888, the Wailuku Sugar Company obtained that land. It was a whole huge parcel of land that stretched at one point all the way to Waikapu, all along the Mauka side of High Street and along there.
And all the way down into Happy Valley, too.
Yeah, it was a huge piece of land. I don't know how it was parceled up over the years, but the area where we lived was owned, where we are now.
Yeah, you feel like you
Yes,
live there.
I do
yes.
live there. The area where we are now was owned by the Wailuku Sugar Company until 1991. For over 100 years, they owned that land. We leased it from them from 1957 until 1992, I believe it was. In 1991, the Yokouchis bought a huge part of that land, including where we are, and they donated our little parcel to us at that point.
Cool.
Wonderful family.
Yes, yes.
absolutely.
Pandi, yes.
Good,
We
good
miss him.
history of their own. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's during that time, though. The house was people. I know I've read different families had lived in there. I believe it was more the Wailuku Sugar Company had different management people that would stay there till they got settled and so on. So it was used like that, right?
Usually
Many
kept
different
up.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Transitional housing.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow.
Original transitional
Yeah.
housing on Maui.
So now, I have to admit, I have not been through the museum. I've been to it, but I have not
I have.
gone through it.
Come on up. I'll give you a tour.
I'll bet. Are a lot of original things in there
A lot,
have been
yes.
donated back or whatever?
Yes, well, as far as the things that were in the house originally, the main things we have are Edward Bailey's paintings. He painted landscapes mainly of Maui between the mid to late 1800s, some in the early 1900s. But you'll get to see landscapes of Wailuku, of Iao Valley, of all of this and what it looked like before all the development around here. You can see looking from Iao Valley down into Kahalui, you can see Kanaha Pond, all of that, and how there's nothing there. That's the important thing that came back to the house were
Wow.
the paintings, and those
Cool.
have been donated back over the years.
I'll need to, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back in a minute.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we're back. This is Maui Nonprofit Directors Show every Wednesday at noon, where we talked. Sherry's giving me a bad time. She's sitting here like hanging on every word I say. What's she gonna fill in next? Because I'm ad-libbing, and I used to be good at ad-libbing.
I'm sitting up straight because my back hurts. That's all.
I thought the
I'm
grimacing.
not anxious.
Oh, I thought the grimacing was because of what I was going to say next.
Oh no, it's grimacing because I have back pain.
We feel for you.
Thank you.
We do. We're talking with Travis Schnepp of the Bailey House Museum, Maui Historical Society. He was just telling us about the paintings by Edward Bailey.
Yes.
Now, there's also a lot of photographs.
There are. We don't have as many photographs up in the museum, but we do have a resource center where a person can come in and do research. For non-members, they can come in and do research for $5, and then there's a charge if you want any of the photos reproduced. We have 8,000 cataloged at this point, around
Wow.
8,000. And
So
we
they're
have
like
more.
on the they're digitalized.
They are not, but we will digitize. Some of them have been.
Digitize, that's the
Yes,
word.
That's the
we
word.
have- but if you want some, we can digitize them for you. And then once we digitize them, we have them. So but the ones that we have are all actual
The
photographs.
photographs
Yeah.
themselves.
And then
So-
there's also not just photographs and artwork, but there's a lot of artifacts too.
Artifacts, maps, archives. So people live their lives, and they save letters and they save paperwork and stuff like that. And some of those people that have passed that were alive back during important times donate all their papers to us, and those papers become history, and they are in our archives. So we have that kind of, we have a library, we have actual artifacts, we have a ton
gift
of those.
shop.
We have a gift shop. Yes.
Shopping.
Gift
And
shop.
we also have now we have rental space. We've always rented out our grounds for weddings and so on, but we now have what used to be the girls' dining hall is now available for rentals for lectures or meetings or whatever. So we have a lot of interesting things up there. Yes.
Now, and we mentioned earlier tours. Are there scheduled tours, or can you just come up, or how does that work?
It's all self-guided tours, but we have docents on call. There are docents up there all the time who can give some history about the place and so on. If a group were to say want an actual guided tour, they last about an hour, depending on what they want to see, and we can set that up.
for maybe a school or
Yes, we do a lot of school tours. The Kamehameha schools come up there. They do a lot with us. But they take care of their own tours.
They know their stuff.
Yes, they know their stuff. They know their stuff. And if
hope
you're
so.
lucky enough to go to the Kamehameha schools, they have a more advanced program that they actually get to go down into the archives and see some of the artifacts that are not for display because they're so fragile they can't be in the air. And these are things that are amazing. I mean, these are things that it would be amazing to get someone to donate enough money for us to have a climate-controlled case to put some of these in,
Right.
so people can see some of the things we have down there. Yeah.
Now you've also got a garden.
We do. The gardens are amazing. We the ethnobotanical classes from UHMC, every semester they bring up each of their classes. Us and the Maui Nui Botanical Gardens are the two places they visit. That's how important the plants we have are. They are very important to
native plants.
Native plants, yeah. Some of them endangered. So, very important plants in our gardens.
Wow, that's a piece you don't often see as part of the historical societies.
Well, it's great
endeavors.
because people come in and I give them the little lowdown of what's in the museum, and then I pull out our little map of the grounds and I say, and our exhibit continues out onto the grounds. And the interesting thing is that visitors think of Hawaii and they think of all these big flowering plants, and that's all they can really see in their heads. But the fact is that the plants that were important to Hawaiians traditionally weren't necessarily big flowering plants. They were plants like kalo and the kukui tree and
In fact,
puhala.
a lot of those big flowering trees are not indigenous.
not from
Exactly,
Hawaii.
and that's the thing people
Right.
that visit here don't know.
And that's what's good about, because if you are going to, learn about Hawaiian history, I'm a Hawaiian history major, and it frustrates me when they think, oh, it's about King Kamehameha. There's just so much more to our history, and it's about the plants, it's about the people, it's about the place.
Right.
It's about, even the recent history of Kaho'olawe, and,
Yes.
it's...
And we have an exhibit about Ko'olawe also. So
it's part of Maui County.
There you go.
Kaho'olawe
Yes.
is part of Maui County.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
And it is. There's a lot of history there. I actually
Yes.
did, when I was in college, I did a historical piece on Kaho'olawe because I lived in Kihei growing up, and our dishes used to rattle when they were bombing that island.
And
Seriously.
As
I'll
bad
bet,
as
I'll bet.
as bad as it was, and definitely it was bad, in a way it protected some of the archaeological sites there because no one could be there, so there was no development. And a lot of archaeological sites are along the coasts, and that's where all of the development happens. So here on the islands that are developed, we've lost all of our archaeological sites that, are available. They still have a lot of great sites over there. So there's a lot of great research that can still be done on that island. So although it was a really bad thing, in a way, it protected some things as well.
Yeah, because you definitely didn't want to be on that island when they were bombing.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. Now, you've got a concert coming up
We
on your
do.
grounds.
On August 31st, George Kahumoku and some of his friends will be up there. We're calling it a Blue Hawaiian Moonlight concert because it will be the second full moon
Oh, really?
of the month of August that night. So it's a blue moon. We're having a concert. We'll have some food, like picnicky kind of food for sale, beer and wine, those kind of things. And the concert will actually begin at 7:30. Gates open at 6. There will be an opening act about 6:30, 6:45. And it's going to be grass seating under the moon.
Great family
So,
event.
Yes.
Yes,
Go
absolutely.
out, listen to some great music, and sit around and with your family and have a nice picnic.
And they're going to have a contest that goes with this.
Yes.
Where
there will
are
be.
your outfits from the 40s through the 60s
Yes.
for the contest?
Yes.
I don't know
Historic
what the-
aloha wear.
I don't know what the outfits were in the 40s through the 60s. I wasn't born.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Do we go into this or not?
No, you mean aloha wear from
Yes,
the... Oh, okay.
yes.
I was thinking... I was trying to figure out what kind of historical wear that people wore in those.
1940 to 1960, not 18.
Well, they're pretty much the same aloha shirts, aren't they?
Some are. The colors have changed a lot. The lays have changed a lot over the years. The kinds of lays that have been popular throughout the years and so on. The
Now we
types
have
of
manuheli.
fabrics. Yeah.
Back then we didn't.
So a lot of it will be about fabric. A lot of it about the type of lay. You see things from the turn of the century, and you see how the women, the hula dancers dressed full clothing from head to toe with the big lays and everything. And then it's interesting to see the photographs through the years.
Did
and
you
how
see the cellophane?
Yes, the cellophane,
skirts,
exactly.
yes.
Oh, guys, ouch. Oh.
cellophane and the plastic coconuts.
Oh, those hurt. I gotta tell
There
you.
was there was somebody on Molokai who was trying to open a vintage Aloha wear shop, and had lots of these kinds of things. And I don't know if she ever got the store open or not. But
There's
I
one in
remember talking to her.
Wailea.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a shop that sells Hawaiian men's Hawaiian shirts that are all vintage, and he
Interesting.
can tell you exactly how old the shirt is and stuff.
So
And
now
they're
everyone
beautiful.
knows where to go to get their vintage shirt and be able to win this contest.
Right.
Shops of Wailea. I don't know the name of the store, but you'll find it. There's not that many shops down there.
Yeah. So it's are these slightly worn, or
When I went in there, they did not look slightly worn.
brand new?
They looked brand new, but I mean, I didn't ask.
Wow. Huh.
I don't have anybody to buy a shirt for, so I didn't.
Gotcha.
I said, "Oh, that's a very nice idea. Bye bye."
Okay.
That sounds like a fun contest. Then, what does the winner win?
I haven't been told.
Oh.
I'm not in charge of the contest.
Oh, that's nice. You let somebody else do it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. Delegate.
He's got the job.
He's
down
already got it
already.
nailed.
Yes.
Delegate.
He's
But
there.
it's good because it's $35 per person, but if you become a member of the Maui Historical Society, you can get the tickets for $25 a person. So
And if they want tickets, what do they do?
they would call us or go to our website or email us. And it's best to order ahead of time because we do have limited seating. So it's Bailey House Museum at clearwire.net. I know I said that really quickly, and the phone number is 244-3326.
Or you could just Google it.
Or Google it at mauimuseum.org.
There you go.
There you go.
It has more information on there as well.
Now you also have this ongoing event, Play Along with Ukulele Mele.
Yes, Mele comes in on Saturday. Right now it's been the second and fourth Saturday. She started last month. It's been about 20 people
Really?
with her in our dining hall, which is a nice little location, and just to hear them all going at it, it's a lot of fun. We're charging the member rate right now for everyone, so it's $5 per person. When she starts her next series, which will be in December, it'll go up to $10 a person, but the members will remain at $5. So become a member.
There's
That's always
lots of
good.
benefits to being a member.
Yes, and the ukulele play along is a lot of fun. We have 3 more coming up in this series. There's August 25th, September 8th, and September 22nd.
And so everybody just kind of gets together,
Yeah.
kind of kapila, and plays.
Exactly, 10 till noon on Saturday, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's the best $5 you're ever going to spend.
Yeah.
I know. That does sound like fun. I wish
Does
I
it?
played the ukulele though.
But you
I
could
used to.
come up and listen.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's $5 it includes interest to the museum also. So you can come in, listen up, and then go through the museum.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And you guys have some great pictures on your website.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
they do.
I didn't take any of them.
Now, there's also a video that can be watched.
There is.
What is
yes.
that of?
You know what? I've never watched the video, but I have people calling me. I haven't. I really haven't. But I have people calling me all the time about that video and wanting photographs from the video or so on. And so I have to research. They tell me which photograph it is and what it says, and I have to go research it. We have a new researcher, so I'm not doing all the research anymore. But
Do you
yeah.
miss that part?
no.
Really?
That was Nicole's big thing. Nicole was a big behind the
Research.
scenes kind of research archives person, and I'm not as much. I like it, but I'd prefer to do
You
other
seem like a
things.
people person.
That's yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Get them out of the research and up there with
Yes.
people.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got gardening classes, you've got Lahala weaving classes.
Yes. They're all coming up starting in September. The Lauhala weaving classes, there'll be 6 weeks in a row. So those will be good. And then the gardening classes are going to be 4 separate Thursdays.
And all this information is on your website, right?
All of it
So-
is on our website. Most of it would be if you go to the news link, it'll take you and it'll give you all the details about all of these events. Some of it's on the front page, the home page, but the news link will give you the details on everything.
So I'm going to ask you the $10,000 question.
Oh no, should I be scared?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe. No. Volunteers.
We always need volunteers. Yes, we are in need, especially this time of year. People don't think about the fact that we lose about half of our volunteers in the summer because they go back to the mainland. Because a lot of
Really?
volunteers, people who can volunteer during the week.
Snowbirds.
Yes.
Oh, right.
People who volunteer during the day, during the week are retired, typically.
Mhm.
I mean, most people can't. I mean, luckily we have some people who are coming on board now who are not retired, who are able to work the weekends, so we have the weekends covered. But, yeah, it's tough to fill spots, especially gardening spots. If someone knows how to deal with native plants, we really need people like that to be able to come and help us keep our native plants alive.
And that's great, you can go out and sit in the sun and work in the garden and all that kind of stuff, especially for you condo dwellers.
Yeah.
You guys need to get out and do some gardening.
Yeah. And then we also, if you're interested in the history, sitting in the museum and talking about the history with people, I'm a bad person to teach you how to do this, because I'll sit and talk to people for an hour about the history while we're sitting in the museum, and so then our volunteers get scared away because they say, we have to talk like that, all this, we have to go on like that? No,
They never get out of the first room.
Right, it's true, it happens.
Well, it's a wonderful history, and you're right, it's so full of so much information, and
It is.
and when you're sitting amongst
Yes.
everything, it definitely becomes a lot more surreal, and
It does,
yeah,
yes.
very nice. We're so fortunate to have organizations like yours that are preserving the history and our culture, and because there came a time when that was somewhat suppressed, and
I
luckily
know,
enough, we
yeah.
had enough of our history through oral history to be able to recreate it.
There's a show I caught the other day on TV, Recollections,
Oh yes,
on, what is it, Saturday and Sunday nights?
on the Akaku.
Yeah, UHMC does it.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated just by the pictures they show as they open up on it. Anything that comes out in a brown tone, what was that called?
Sepia?
Sepia, yeah. Just fascinates me. It's like, wow, where's this taken? What did that look like then, and what is it now? But those are some fascinating stories for anybody who has not heard it. It's, I think, 8 o'clock on excuse me, Saturday and Sunday night, and they talk to local people.
It's our kapuna who have.
Right, talking about their lives, and most of them are in their 70s, 80s, 90s.
And it's a way to archive those stories and preserve them, because for some reason, a lot of our kapuna, they don't tell their stories, or the young kids aren't interested in listening to the stories. And so a lot of those stories get lost. So, well, thank you so much for coming today, and we welcome you to our Maui Nonprofit Directors Organization.
Thank you for having me.
Certainly. This show, Maui Nonprofit Notes, is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, a wonderful organization that has a great base yard down in Waikapu. It's the builder's choice, and as Habitat for Humanity knows, they are definitely the builder's choice. If you're building or remodeling your home, stop by their showroom in the Waikapu base yard. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui.
We encourage everyone to get involved by giving, advocating, or volunteering for your favorite nonprofit. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of our member agencies, and we do encourage you to get involved today. Mahalo for tuning in, and don't forget to join us again next week right here on KAOI Radio, 1110 AM, 96.7 FM, when we'll be featuring representatives of 2 other member agencies of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann.
And I am Sherry Dotson.
And Travis?
And Travis.
And I'm Travis Schnepp.
Schnepp, there we go. Have a great week. Aloha, everyone.